Well, China has renewed military drills around Taiwan after another delegation of U.S. lawmakers arrived for a surprise visit to the self-governing island on Sunday. This time, it was a bipartisan group that met with the Taiwanese president and other top government officials Sunday and Monday. The trip comes not even 2 weeks after House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, remember that big trip? She enraged China with her own visit to Taiwan. Tennessee Republican Bill Hagerty joining us now. He is a member of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee and former U.S. ambassador to Japan. Senator, always good to see you. Thanks for joining us. These CODELs, these congressional delegations, are very important. I know how incredibly happy the Taiwanese were to see Speaker Pelosi, and then, of course, the lawmakers that have come before and the lawmakers that will come after. But in a time like this, where we're seeing China playing essentially war games around this island, right? How important is it to actually take action for Congress to strengthen Taiwan's security as opposed to just going, shaking hands and showing the world and saying that we support them?
I think it's terribly important, Aisha. First, I'll say this. These congressional visits are routine. They've been going on for decades, and I think they'll continue to go on. But what we've seen is a very different response from China. I think part of it is the fact that the Chinese Communist Party feels emboldened in the face of weakness from the Biden administration. I'll remind you, today is the one-year anniversary from the collapse of Afghanistan. And since that collapse, I think our enemies have been emboldened around the globe. China's no exception to that.
Yeah.
But the other thing that you mentioned, I think, is absolutely true as well. We need to actually follow up our words with deeds. We need to strengthen foreign military sales acquisitions. I'd like to see more exercises in the region. I'd like to see more presence of the United States and our allies. That's how we demonstrate real strength.
So, Senator,
that's what China respects.
To your point, there is a bipartisan bill that's been sponsored by your colleagues, Senators Bob Menendez and Lindsey Graham. It's in limbo right now. Reportedly, the White House has been lobbying Democrats to try to push it off so that we don't continue to increase tensions with China. I want to pull up what it does. It provides security, $4.5 billion in security assistance. It designates the island as a major non-NATO ally, and it takes steps to counter Chinese influence campaign. These are big steps. This would be a big stance for the U.S. to take, for Congress to take. What are Democrats telling you? Why is this in limbo, and when can we see Congress do something with this bill?
Well, actually, you're correct. They pushed it off the calendar before we left for the August recess. I think they were so focused on getting this, massive tax and spend package through, they couldn't think about anything else. But the good news is this. They have already scheduled it now for markup in September. This has just come out. So we will be getting onto this legislation once we get back to Washington. I expect it to happen sometime in the middle part of September.
All right, we'll be watching that. This America's one China policy, it is ambiguous. I think it's a head scratcher, definitely over Speaker Pelosi's visit. A lot of folks probably were confused by this. At some point, do you think the administration needs to go back to this policy, rethink it a little bit?
Well, again, I think this legislation that we're going to talk about in September will get in that direction. Particularly, it's going to help us strengthen Taiwan's military position. It'll be more foreign military sales. It'll be an expedited process to do that, Aisha. Plus, it'll be more foreign military financing. Again, I'd like to see this, more exercises in the region, not only between the United States and our allies, but also to have our allies there on their own in the region. And frankly, we need to see a lot more U.S. military strength build up. As you know, I was ambassador to Japan at a time when we had massive tensions with North Korea and with China. We need to continue to build our presence and our posture because the Asia-Pacific region is where the action is going to be in the years to come.
And I think that the Japanese reportedly have sent or are sending active duty military staff to Taiwan. So, of course, that puts a spotlight on us as to what we do next. Thank you, Senator, for your time. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Aisha. Always good to be with you. Thanks.